what you remember about graphing. So this is the first example. They have the answer there, but we're going to go ahead and do it. But before we do that, let's remember we are trying to solve. George, you remember what the word solve means? Okay, Missy, what does solve mean? Find what? True. That's good. I got a couple words. Solve, true. Define the numbers that make the sentence true. Find all the numbers, because you know what? There's a whole bunch of these. Okay, Rusban, have a seat, please. Numbers that make the sentence true. Now, if you want to follow whatever they do on the handout, you certainly may. My method is going to be foolproof. Well, it should be foolproof. Okay? Ted? We're not doing iPad, so put your iPad away. Elias, I need you focused here. Michael, I need you focused here. Okay, here's what we're going to do. The steps. I don't care if it's an inequality or not. Pretend it's equals. Equation with an equal sign in it. 2, graph the line. 3, after you graph the line, you will test an ordered pair. Just like we did on the number lines. Remember how we did that? Test an ordered pair. Let's call it XY. Shade the side that's true. Okay, so this is going to give us boundaries. So we're going to pretend this is y equals 2x plus 3. Now, it's been a while since we graphed lines. I don't know if you remember how to do it. A table always works. Marie, do you remember how to do it? Well, first tell me what's the slope? 2 over 1. And where do we begin? At positive 3. So I'm going to bring a graph out here. And it's done for you, but you could actually do it if you wanted to. Where is this? Whoopsie. This is just like graphing lines. So first we're going to graph the line, and it's a less than or equal to. So Michael, am I going to include the line or not include the line? I'm going to include the line because it's less than or equal to. So if it's like this, or if it's like this, it's a solid line. You might want to take notes on that, because you may use your notes on tests and quizzes. So this will be a short unit. But we're going to do much more with graphing even in the next unit. And then I think that's it with the linear piece, and we'll do some probability. If it's less than or if it's greater than, it's a dotted line. Hey, Michael, I don't see you writing this down. I should see this on your sheet. So when I give you points for doing it, I give you points for writing that down. And I'll wait for you to write it down. I'll even highlight it. That's what's going to be important. And you should know what solve is. Okay, I know the problem's been done, and then we'll do a couple of the problems that are on the worksheet. Now, you can do the directions they do here, but the problem is, and you have to remember about this dividing by negatives and stuff, you know what, that's just too hard. My way is much easier. So where are we going to put our first point? Gabe, do you know where that first point goes? Where are we going to begin? Okay, Nick, focus. 3, where's that 3, though? But where? I mean, this is a plane here. I got a whole bunch of points here. It's going to be on the what axis? The y-axis. We always begin on the y-axis. And that's because somebody chose to do it that way. If you put 0 in, y is equal to 3. Now, do you remember how to do slope? Radice, do you remember how to do slope?
Yeah, she said it.
What did she say? I couldn't hear.
Y equals the next velocity.
That's good. How do I graph the next point? Rusban, how do I graph the next point? Put that away. I do what? Start here, begin here. Do what with 2? I got 2 directions, 4 directions I can go. You better give me a direction. George wants me to go down? Okay, if I go down 2, then which way, right or left?
Right.
That is correct. That is a positive slope. Okay, if you're going to be like that, I'm going to send you out. This is a positive slope. You know positive slopes look like this. Negative slopes look like that. And yes, you're going to have a final exam that covers this material. So you're going to have to know it. Now, Michael said we're going to do a solid line, so we'll draw a solid line. So this is exactly like what we've done before with graphing lines. That's all review. Now, the only thing that's new is there's a whole bunch of points that make this inequality true. Because it says I want ordered pairs that are less than or equal to that. So I'm going to test the easiest point in the plane, which is that. Nick, what's the easiest number I could put in there? Remember when we did the inequalities, when we did 3 is less than x? Remember when we did those? And we found the 3 here. Oops, there's the 3. And we put an open circle here, and then we tested. Which point did we test? I could test any point I want. What's the easiest number I can put in there? Paris, what's the easiest number I can put into that? 0. Is 3 smaller than 0? Then you have to think. Yeah, you guys quickly say yes or no without thinking. Okay, George? Have a seat, please. Okay, is 3 smaller than 0? No, it's not. So I'm not going to shade that side because that doesn't make the sentence true. How about 4? Let's just test. Is 3 smaller than 4? Yeah, makes it true. So now I've got a plane, and either I'm going to shade down here or I'm going to shade up here. One or the other. You can't do both. Otherwise, you get everything. Okay, Rusman? What number would you like to try in my inequality? Which I probably should rewrite because I don't remember what it was. Okay, y is less than or equal to 2x plus 3. What's the easiest ordered pair I can put in there? Elias, what's the easiest one I can put in there? How about 0? How about 0, 0? What's the name of this point? That's 0, 0. That's the easiest one. I could take anything. I could take 6, 0. I could take 0, 6. That's work. If I put in zeros, 0, is that smaller than or equal to 2 times 0 plus 3? What is 2 times 0? 0. And 0 plus 3 is? No, plus. Just think for a second. You've gotten this far by not thinking, and that's the problem. That's why you have to find math hard. Okay, Ted, just think about it. 2 times 0 is 0. If I add nothing to 3, I still have 3. Is that a true statement? Is 0 smaller than 3?
Yes.
That's yes. That's a true statement. So I will shade the side including the 0. This way. And sufficient, some of you like to shade entirely, but it's sufficient just to know the arrows. So if you want me to shade it with some colors, I will. So it's all of this. If I try any other ordered pair on this side of the line, it will make that sentence true. Honestly, it's all you have to know. You have to be able to graph a line and then decide which side are we going to shade on. That's it. That's the only thing that's different today. Now, you can do the rules they have here. The problem is these rules only work if it's y first. And if you look on the back page, 7, 8, and 9, y is not first. You have to solve for y. Well, then you have to know some rules. You have to solve for y anyway, but I just want to find the boundary. So we'll skip that. Let's do that problem. And you can do the other thing. This is the very next problem on the page. This is practice A, B, and C. Actually, this is, I don't think we're going to get to the green one today at all. That's which is fine. Okay, so we're going to pretend it's a line. So it's y equals x minus 4. Okay? No? Murdy's? Okay, what am I going to do? How do I graph that line? Do you remember, Josh? You can always do a table. Just plot 2 points. Marie? What is 1 over 1? The slope? That's the slope. That's the number that measures how steep it is. Is it going to go up or is it going to go down? It's going to go up. Where do we begin? You need to be doing this. This is on the worksheet. This will be collected. B is equal to what? Not 4. Negative 4. Okay? Do you need a pencil, Gabe? Well, you need to write this down. It's not an option. No, it's not homework. It's classwork. We're doing this in class. Yeah. Nick, do you need a pencil? Yeah, we'll get you pencils. Guys, graph it. Go up and graph it then, Gabe. Come on, graph it. Can't believe you guys don't want to learn. Life gets pretty boring. Who else needs a pencil? Guys. See if you can beat him. Uh-oh. Oh, it's Jake. Okay. Who else needs a pencil? Nick does. You'll have to sharpen. Josh, do you have a pencil? Yep. Good. Okay, so we're going to begin where? Where do you begin? At -4. Yeah. Over. Yeah, perfect. Perfect. Okay, let me get you a worksheet. Oh, you got one. Never mind. Okay, now, well, you're not done. Okay, Rusman, help him out. Is that going to be a solid line through those points or a dotted line? Why? Because it's greater than or equal to. It has that extra little pencil mark there, so we have to include it. So draw your line as best you can, not too particular. Whoa. Here, I can fix that. Okay, well, we're not done. There, perfect. It's good enough. If you want a straight edge, you can use a straight edge. You can use your iPad as a straight edge. Now, you're going to either shade above this line or below the line. What's the easiest point to put in there to try it? 0. Why? Be careful. If y is not by itself, that rule that you just used does not work. That's why I don't like it. If you just test the origin, then it's easier. Now, you may not think that's easier, but you get a calculator out if you can't do that numerically. Is 0 bigger than or equal to -4? And you have to think before you say yes or no. Yeah. So guess what? We'll shade, and he was right. But if I have the x over here and the y is not alone, you can't do that. So this works no matter what method, no matter what happens here, this works. Works every time. I always want a process that works every time and something I can understand. Okay, Michael, do you have this one done? This is the very first one. Very good. Now try the next one. Maybe somebody wants to come up and do that one. First question. I'll stop. First you graph the line. So we pretend it's equals and we graph the line. Gabe put -4 here, did a slope of 1. That's old material, but you might have forgotten. Okay, Rusman, put your phone away, please. Well, you can ignore and tell her I said so. I don't care. You're in class. You're in class. No, I'll email her when I'm done with class today and tell her she shouldn't be doing that. Okay? Now, and then you just have to choose which side. Are you ready to go to the next problem? Well, you don't have that. Do you need a pencil? You need to be doing these problems. Good. I should see them done. Okay, let's try the next one. And you should be working ahead of me. If you get this, go ahead and work. I don't like the way that's written. It's y, let's write it equals 1/4 x plus 1, because that's easier to read. Rusman, do you want to come up and do this one? So, remember how to graph this, Jake? Remember what the slope is? What's the slope? 1/4. Where do you begin? 1. Okay? Pardon? I don't know. I'm going to graph it in a second. So you start at 1, and it's positive 1/4. Is it going to go this way, or is it going to go that way? It's positive. It's going to be that one, right? Okay? You need to be doing this. Okay, Gabe, it's not an option. Okay, so we're going to graph 1, and we're going to graph 1/4. We're going to do a slope of 1/4. How do I do that? Nick, do you remember? This is going to be the up-down. This is the right-left. And they're positive. So I'm going to go up 1 into the right 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I want to get a couple more points. Up 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, do I get to include the line or not? No, I don't. So I'm going to use a dotted line. Whoopsie. Try and get it there. Well, that's close enough. Otherwise, sometimes I make a solid line and then I just use my eraser and erase. You could do that too. Oh, must be with a big eraser. I don't want a big one. There, now it's dotted. Not great, but it's okay. It's close enough. Which side am I going to shade? You need to graph this with me. This is what I'll be collecting. Probably, I don't know if you can get it all done by the end of the hour, because some of these are tricky. We're going to do the first 3 together, and then you're on your own for the other ones, and we'll spend some time on this. We'll review this, and we'll take a quiz on it, and then we'll go into systems of equations. More graphing. Okay, what's the point you want to try? Hannah, what point would you like to substitute in here? Y is less than 1/4 of x plus 1. I either am going to shade above this thing or below it. Why? Be careful. If I have x minus y is less than 1, that is not going to be shading below. So I don't want to use that method because it only works if you know all the rules. And this rule is divided by a -1. And that reverses the inequality. Well, guess what? I didn't really teach it that much because it's too hard to remember. Instead, just test the origin. Is 0 smaller than 1/4 of 0? What's 1/4 of nothing? Nothing. So is 0 smaller than 1? True or false? Yeah, true. So you're right. I'm going to shade below. But you have a 50-50 chance. And the reason why some of you guys got this wrong on your inequalities is because you didn't really test it. You just kind of guessed, oh, it's going to be one way or the other. It's a 50-50 chance. I wouldn't bet my life on a 50-50 chance. Because half the time you're wrong. That's the problem. Okay, so you should have that. If some of you like to shade, you may shade. I got colors over there, over here someplace if you want to color. So you could do that. And let's try one more, and then your assignment is to do the rest of it. Now, I don't like the way this is written. Equals -1/2 x minus 2. Are they written like that on this worksheet too? Yeah, they are. We shade below because 0, 0 made it true. Well, let's try this one. You guys should be ahead of me. This is the third one now. Okay, what's the slope? What kind of 1/2? Positive or negative? -1/2. Excellent, Bernice. What's the y-intercept? Alex, do you know? -2. So where do we begin? At -2. Is this coming back? Good. You know what? If it comes back this quickly, that means you really learned it. When you're my age, well, you know what? Remember this? Probably not, unless you're using it. But if you read the paper, you'll see lots and lots of lines, graphs in the paper. So now what am I going to do? Is this going to go up or is it going to go down? It's going to go down because it's negative. Go down 1 and 2 to the right. Go down 1 and 2 to the right. Down 1 and 2 to the right. I kind of like to get a whole bunch of these. It looks like a staircase, doesn't it? Yeah, because that's what it is. You're all familiar with slope. You go up and down stairs, you're talking slope. If you go up and down hills, you're talking slope. Okay, do I want to connect the dots or do I want to make a dashed line? Because it's just greater than, so it's dotted. I'll try and be a little neater than my last graph. Make sure you cover the whole plane because it's not just a little segment. And now, what's the nicest point I can try? 0. Question. Michael? This is, it's 2 to the right, and then it's down 1. Because this is greater than, but not equal to. So just like in our regular inequalities. Good question. You guys have to ask those questions. Okay, so try 0. Is 0 bigger than, why do I choose 0? Because what's negative 1/2 times 0? Rusbin, what's negative 1/2 times 0? 0. Well, any number times 0 is what? Yeah. I don't have to know any arithmetic. Let's do arithmetic. Is 0 bigger than negative 2? True or false? Yes. So since that works, everything over here works. That's it. Last lesson in the inequality unit, really. And then we'll spend a couple, we'll do some more tomorrow. And we'll have a few days. I have a quiz scheduled for Friday. Yeah. Yeah, do you have this done, the first 3? Do you have these 3 done? When you have these 3 done, good. And then your job is to do this. If you finish early, I do have another worksheet. I don't know, we can start it today. So basically, we're just going to take a lot of time working on problems. Now, they're going to get harder. Maybe we should skip to one of those hard ones on the back. Let's look at number 7. Okay, so I'm going to put a graph here. And number 7, see, here's the problem. But you could do a table of values. That is not in the right form. Okay, Gabe, put your phone away, please. How do you get it in the right form? I don't want it in that form. Michael, remember what we want? We want y equals mx plus b. So I want to take this and pretend it's equals, because then I know what to do. It's nothing strange. Yes, Brisbane says subtract 1 from both sides because we want to see y equals 2x minus 1. Can I add those? Yeah, can I add 2x on the negative 1? No, they're not at all the same. Now you should be able to do it. What's the slope? No. 2. Where did we begin? Negative 1. Is that okay, Nick? So we're going to start at negative 1, which is right here. And now we got to get another point. How do we get the next point? Go up 2 and to the right 1. And I would like to get a few points in here. Now, we go back to the original. Some of you, when you were doing this, were in the new one that we did, the pretend one. We can't do that. You got to go to the original one. And it's less than, so is it going to be dotted or is it going to be solid? It's going to be dotted. There we go. Ooh, it's pretty close to 0, but we can still do 0. Let's try 0. Is 0 plus 1 less than 2 times 0? The left side is 1. What's 2 times nothing? Nothing. Is 1 smaller than 0? So your method's not going to work now. It might work. It might not. Depends. That's not true, right? So I'm not going to shade the side with the 0 in it. I'm going to shade that side. You could test anything. You could test this point, which is 1 comma 0. I could put that in there. That's y is 0, so 0 plus 1, is that less than 2 times x, which x is 1, is 1 less than 2. If you really want to double check yourself, check another point. Yeah, that's true. So this point must be shaded, so everything on this side will be shaded. So it's exactly what we did on the number line. There's no difference, except now we're in a plane. That's all. So if you got that in the last unit, you're set. So you guys have a chance to work. I think you can get this done, actually, and you should turn it in. It's certainly due by the beginning of class tomorrow. I'm tired of all the late assignments, guys. You need to be doing them on time.